So linear regression, shall be looking at linear regression, and that is assignment 5. So going straight to problem 1, which covers manual calculations with cost data. So let's go to manual cost analysis, and they want us to calculate simple things. They want the averages, they want the two averages, let's start with averages quick. We all know the formula, equals average, open the bracket, select the data, close the bracket, enter. Next one is same thing, average, open the bracket, close, enter. So the averages are 1050 and 51535. Next they want us to calculate the x minus x bar, then y minus y bar. Those ones are obvious. If you go slightly to the side here, where is it? Oh, if you look down here, we have already got our average. X bar simply means average of x, and y bar means average of y. So we are going to multiply each. We are going to subtract this minus this for every item. So begin with x bar equals to, we select the x minus the average, but we know that the what, we are going to use the same average throughout. So what do? We make it absolute by putting the dollar signs before the letter and before the number. There, done. Press enter, fill, done. Repeat, equals, select, minus this, and dollar signs. You can simply press F on your keyboard and you'll have it. Then we are going to fill, pull this down. There we go. So we already have those values. Next they want us to get the square of x minus x bar squared. So to get this, shall just simply say, there are two ways. We can multiply it, or we can use the square symbol. So we can select this cell, and we use this symbol, and we put 2, and it's done. We expect it to be changing, so done. And next they wanted the product between x minus x bar and y minus y bar. So we just do that simply. There we have it. Do the same thing, we fill. That is done. And the summations, of course, we skip that step, no problem. Sum, open the bracket, select my data, and close, and same thing here. Sum, open the bracket, select my data, close, and enter. That is done. I'm done with number 1. Find the estimated slope in cell C40. So I come and click here and type C40 so that they take me straight. I don't have time to be looking. Using the formula equals to, so the summation, this one here, of the product of x minus x bar and y minus y bar divided by the summation of the square of x minus x bar. So that over, where is my slash, this. And you get my answer there. Then the next thing, remember that x bar refers to the average of x values and y bar refers to the average of the y values. That much is obvious. Moving forward, we have, this is B1 we have got, right? So we're going to go ahead, find the estimated intercept value in cell C43. Same concept. I'm not going to type. I'm not going to look for it. Come and type here. it take me to cell C43, and we said it's y bar minus the product of b1 and x bar. So y bar, we got it here. The average of y, oh sorry, let's go back to our C43 equals the average of y, which is this, minus the product of this and this. There we have it. Just follow the formulas. Now graph the predicted and actual costs that are using XY scatter plot with no lines. Put on the vertical axis, put cost on the vertical axis and quantity on the x-axis. Add a trend line to this first inside the chart to many instructions. So before that, we need to do this using the estimated slope and intercept values to calculate the predicted values for each quantity in cell B47. This is B47. So we are going to, remember we are finding the y bar. This is not y bar, notice this. So we are finding the predicted cost, and you see that symbol meaning predicted. So we shall say equals to, we got our b naught being the intercept, and we are going to make that absolute. I told you you can just simply press F4 to make it absolute. That is done. So we want it to be fixed on that, plus shift plus our b1. Our b1 was the slope. Same thing, absolute, I will just press F4. We are working against time, and times what's missing, I see here the xi. We'll go and pick the x value, no more x value, xi. Is that the actual cost? I think, let's see. Xi is the quantity. Sorry, we have it here. So we don't need to go up. So it's there. That one will be changing as we slide. Enter. Carry out my filling. Pull this down. I'm done. Okay, so those numbers are done, and they're telling us lastly they want us to graph the predicted. So this predicted cost and actual cost using. So I'll just come select this data. Okay, let's use the traditional method insert. Where are they? Scatter. I'll pick this first one, and I'll make sure it fits in the space where it's expected to sit. There we go. And so selecting the data, okay, let's have my thing here, format, design, select data, okay, let's see, it told us put cost on the vertical axis. So cost, which cost, and quantity. Graph the predicted and actual cost data using the XY scatter plot with no lines. Put cost on the vertical axis and quantity to the horizontal as a trend line to actual and predicted cost data. Is this a mistake? Okay, let's put quantity on the horizontal axis. x-axis, horizontal x-axis. This is the horizontal. Okay, select data range. We shall use in that table. Okay, so I think this is okay. So you see, we have the horizontal. Yeah, this is fine. So the graph will have two on the y-axis, both the predicted and actual costs, which is this, and then on the horizontal axis we shall have the quantity, which we have plotted successfully. Next, they want us to add some features. Let's go ahead and do that. To get started with chart title, actual and predicted costs. There we go. Horizontal axis title. Vertical simply says cost. So this is supposed to be quantity. Then vertical axis titles, primary vertical, shall call the vertical cost. Add the legend at the bottom of the chart. Note you will need to name each series. Okay, legend. At the bottom, actual cost, predicted cost. You will need to name each series. I think that's done. And with that, we have finished the first part. Save that. Put problem 2. Time trends. Pen time trends. Okay. And our first question is, go to the time trends tab. We can all use linear equation to examine how variables are changing over time. In this problem, we want to look at the integrated high yields and non-integrated yields in cancers. Our first request to create an XY chart with lines for the irrigated and non-irrigated yield. Use yield as the y, yields as the y variable and as x. Same procedure. I just come select my data, save time, and I say insert la done. There we have it. Fix that in that corner. space. There we go. What else they need? They need the chart title, called cancers, crop yields, copy. Control V. Then they need the horizontal fold here. Insert axis titles, horizontal. Vertical. You can get a straight line. Now navigate a trend line. Display the equations for both trend lines. Let's right click, add trend line. Then this will appear. Then what do one select? Display as squared value. Display equation on the chart. So it's done. Then do the same for this. Right click, add trend line, display equation and now value. So let's look for, and they're telling us to make it clear which is which. I think it's very clear since specific ones are next to each other. Legend at the bottom of the chart. I think I've covered that. Oh, yeah. Seems I have more than one trend line. Okay, my mistake had entered two trend lines earlier. Corrected that. And legend at the bottom is clear. Using your regression equation, predict the irrigated and irrigated fields in year 15. To do this, plug the value 15 into the estimated linear function. Do this for irrigated cornfields in cell I30, So what we are going to do, remember our x is the year, so we are going to just, what are we told us to do? Use your equation, predict, irrigate, and navigate equal to linear 50. To do this, plug the value 50 in the estimated linear function. Do this for. So we go to this one is for projected, irrigated. Okay, irrigated is a blue one. We shall go copy this. Control C, I've copied it. And it shall come, say equals to Control V. Then for x, shall just say times 50. There we have it. And doing the same for this one. Select, copy, come, paste. Again for x, shall say times 50. That is done. I what? In I30 for non-integrated in this is what? In I31. Where is I34? I think it was a mistake. This is supposed to be I31. Based on the asked values, which regression line better fits the area, better fits the data? How do we know this? Okay, so to answer this question, we're going to look at the R-squared value. So based on the R-squared value, which regression line better fits its data? So that R-squared value, it measures the relationship between the variance and the data itself. So the higher the R-squared value, the better it fits the data. So based on these two, we can clearly say that this upper one for irrigated cornfield better fits the data. Based on ask which, so we shall type here the regression line, the regression line for irrigated cornfield better suits, better fits of its. And why? Because the R squared, let's just say R squared, because the R squared value, because it's R squared, what is it? I think it was 0.8. Let's check for it again. 8288 is higher than that of non-irrigated. Non-irrigated. It's enough. Okay, cornfield. And we are done with that. Control, save. Next. Now we are going to the nonlinear yields, problem 3. Alright, so now before we proceed with regression analysis, we're now entering the part where we're going to be using the add-ins. So you just go to File, come to Options. So it'll bring you something like this. Come to Add-ins and just press Go. And all you have to do is to make sure that the analysis toolpath and the solver add-in are ticked, and you press OK, and that is it. Now we can go ahead with the work. So to get started with, the n squared, what is this? Okay, the toolpaths are still installing, they're done. What is this 3.11? I don't know what it means, but I think they just want x squared, right? So calculate n squared for each n value. This should go into cell D5 here, equals to this. We said square, you just use shift 6 and you put 2. Enter. We do the filling. Then the next thing, use the regression option for data analysis toolpath to estimate the following equation. Use the regression option for data analysis toolpath. So to get the regression option, you go to data and you come. Oh, before that, they want us use the regression option for the analysis to estimate the following equation. Select the yield data for y variable. Is there more data down? Zoom out a little to allow clear view. So in order to do this, which is this basically, no, it's not that, it's different. Okay, so to do this, we're going to go to data, then data analysis, and you can come and select regressions here. Okay, now to input y values, we come and select. It told us for y values, y variable dependent, they want the yield data. So select yield data. Then for x data, they're telling us an n and n squared. So simply this. So x and n are being used interchangeably, let it not confuse you. What else? Confidence level 95%, okay. New worksheet PLY, yes. What else? I think that's all. Okay. We expect a new worksheet. Yes, has come. And shall come and copy this. Control C. Come back to our yield. Was it yield? Yes, yield. And paste it here. Control V. There we have it, perfectly entered. Does it all fit? Yes, well done. Now, after doing that, after we have done that, the next thing is copy and paste. About done. Using the estimated values for B, B1, B2, type the estimated yield function equation into cell G26. As always, I don't like looking, so I just type in the cell. So there, I think they want me to type this. Yes. So we're going to type this equation. So we begin equals B naught. Where is our B naught? Now if you remember, we said the intercept is B naught, the variable one is B1 and B2. So if you look at this B naught, it is this one here. So to write the equation, we shall simply say equals to this plus B1, which is this. I think I don't know if it's okay to put N. Well, for this one, we'll make it absolute. What happens is this to some n plus b2 times n squared. Remember, we like to have all this as absolutes. I don't know. So this is showing name error. I think instead of using formulas, I'm going to try to just type the values. I'll be using, I think, 2 decimal places. So equals, our first word is this, right? Plus, okay, let's type it manually. This is 100.75 plus, what's the next one? This one, 0.35n. Can we use x maybe? It would work. Let's try. Why not? Plus, actual minus 0.001 times x squared. Let's try this. I don't know. I think, what is the nitrogen response function? Maybe remove the R. Yeah, sorry, now seen my issue. The equal sign was already here. They just wanted this, and that's all. Now going ahead, using your estimated coefficients. Yes, the coefficients are here. Using your estimated coefficient, calculate the predicted yield for a quantity that is found in F32 is here. In F32 to 61, the predicted will be equal to, remember it's not so hard, the first one is intercept plus, oh, we are making them absolute, so click on this, press F4 plus this, press F4 times, what is by times, or nitrogen N plus this times our nitrogen squared. Remember, this also has to be absolute. The cell F32 doesn't have to be absolute, but everything else has to be absolute, cell referenced. And after we do that, I'll press enter. Then also for this, remember we're talking of n, not what? Not x. There you go. Now I can go ahead and fill this. There I go. It is done. And after doing that, I've finished the step. Graph the predicted and actual. Using exclamator with no lines, put nitrogen on the horizontal, yield on the vertical. Done. Select all my data. I'm graphing it. I'll go to insert, scatter, no lines. There is my scatter diagram. Okay, now let's finish this simple parts and we shall be done with it. So the first step, they're asking graph the predicted and actual yields. We have done that with no lines. Put nitrogen on the horizontal. Where is our nitrogen? It's here. Wait, this should be our nitrogen, right? Up to around 130. Let's check. Nitrogen ranges 150. We interswitched 0. Why do I feel like we have interswitched them? 94. Let's go and select data and see if it was done well. So they said put nitrogen on the horizontal. Yeah, I think this is it. In action, yeah, it came out well. Nitrogen on the horizontal. Yeah, this is it. Nitrogen on the horizontal. Then particle we have there. And the next thing, axis titles. So they want axis titles, actual yield trend line, display legend. So first you can remove the chart title before anything else. Chart title, none. Then we go add the horizontal, primary horizontal, and it's going to be nitrogen. Control V. There we go. Done. Don't need this for now. It is it. Well typed. ABS. Okay. Next, the one the yield in bushels per acre. Copy this. Add. Bushels per acre. Then they say actual yields trend line. Actual yields is blue, so we come on blue. Right click and say add trend line. Then this box should appear here. And they're telling us actual trend line order 2 polynomial order 2. Okay. Done. Then they want us to display the R squared equation. The equation and R squared will come down. Equation R squared, that is done. And they want the legend at the bottom. Okay. And close this. Insert our design legend at the bottom. It's already there. And with that, if you have reached this step, well done and congratulations. That is it for assignment 5. Share with someone who you know has not yet done the work. Remember, the deadline is on Thursday by midnight, so make sure you've submitted it. That is all.